Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today, Frontier announced the release date for the upcoming Fleet Carriers, which is currently set for June this year. But in addition to the release date, they also gave a whole bunch of other details which we're going to discuss in this video today. So it seems overall that the whole concept of Fleet Carriers has shifted quite a bit since their initial reveal way back in Frontier Expo 2017. There's also been some changes, at least it seems to be that way from what Frontier discussed last year. So what we've got now is an entire expanded concept of what fleet carriers actually are. In short, Frontier say that the flexibility and customization options for fleet carriers is going to be more in line with other ships in Elite Dangerous. Now, unfortunately, for now at least, Frontier haven't detailed what these customizations and flexibilities actually mean, but what they have said is that they're going to be revealing more details on Thursday the 2nd of April on an official live stream for fleet carriers. Now, whilst we're waiting for that, we do have a few new details, basically 5 key points in all, which we can have a look at right here. So, one of the biggest questions about fleet carriers that many people have been asking is how much will they cost? So, fleet carriers will cost 5 billion credits each. They don't say how many we can own, but I would assume it can only be one per player, but again, we'll have to see. But 5 billion is quite a sum. Now, I do know a lot of players have got far in excess of that, but also know many more players have probably got nowhere near that amount. But with things like mining, even with the nerf, and I suspect this was the reason for the mining credit earning nerf, this still should be possible to achieve. Now, Frontier go on to say that fleet carriers are individually owned, so that means they are personal fleet carriers. They have 16 landing pads of varying sizes, but they don't detail what percentage or what ratio of each size is available at. Now, when it comes to the use of these landing pads, you'll obviously be able to use them yourself, but so too will other players who are about to dock your fleet carriers. Fleet carriers also have a new fuel called tritium, and this will allow players to jump from system to system. And the fleet carriers also have a jump range of 500 light years, which they're about to make in a single jump. It's also possible to jump whenever the player wants. However, there is a cooldown period between jumps, so we'll have to wait and see how long that is. But hopefully it's not going to be too long. The fuel itself is something that might be a concern for some players, especially it would be a concern for me if we have to grind fairly heavily for it. But I'm hoping that in addition to being able to find it around the galaxy, we'll also be able to purchase it maybe. Again, speculation, so we'll just have to see. That said, it is interesting to see a new commodity in there, and that carriers are refuelable. It's just a case of how long that actually takes. Now, in addition to all this, there's a rather curious statement here. Let's read this one out word for word. You can manage your carrier's finances by setting tariffs and adjusting the buying and selling prices for commodities traded in its market. So, what does that mean? Well, it seems to be saying that each carrier will have its own commodities market. Now, as each carrier is owned by players, this would seem to imply that players will actually own the commodities market set on board, and that by setting tariffs, so a sales tax I guess, on board the commodities, you'll actually be able to make profit from any items brought or sold on that market. Now, it's not entirely clear, but if that is what Frontier is saying here, then that would open up a whole new world for trading when it comes to Elite Dangerous, and make things feel very different indeed. So that's about all the details we have right now, but Frontier do say again there will be more available on the 2nd of April. Meanwhile, they've also confirmed that carriers will be going into a beta. There will be 2 betas in fact. The first will take place on the 7th of April and will be PC only, and the second beta will take place in May and be available for PC, Xbox and PlayStation. Again, Frontier have said that these dates may shift slightly in the coming weeks, but that they'll keep us up to date with specific times. And I think that's completely understandable. I don't think anyone can really complain at any further shifting in dates due to what's going on right now. But the fact remains that fleet carriers are coming and they should be available. We should have access to them within a few weeks, at least in the form of a beta. The final release date of June is still quite a way away, but the beta should keep us occupied meantime. And meanwhile, I don't really want to speculate too much on what fleet carriers may be bringing in addition to what we've seen right here, because it's more than possible that they've changed a fair amount since Frontier last discussed them. But one thing I do want to mention is that jump range. I'm quite keen to have a high jump range, if only to help with exploration and maybe have a mobile base of operations out there in the depths of space. But again, this will really depend on how easy it is to refuel the ship. For example, could fleet carriers perhaps have the ability to retain some stock of the fuel or would you have to alternatively have to supply it every single time you need the ship to jump? So that would basically involve players having to go out and collect more fuel each time they want to jump. Right now though, we don't really know, but thankfully further details aren't too far away, so hopefully Frontier will be providing us all the answers on Thursday the 2nd of April. A link to their YouTube channel is available in the video description. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.